Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Larry Weekly. I am Emily, one of the 6 hosts, and today's episode will be about the difference between Larry and other rumored relationships.
So in last week's episode, nobody found the inside joke. So this week we want to give a shout out to at illicitoat8 for sending us some content we will be using to surprise you guys with in the near future.
Hi everyone, Samira here. So I won't be in the rest of the episode. However, I do have a message for y'all. So if you follow us on Twitter at the Larry Weekly, then you know that we're gatekeeping Louis Thompson World Tour Unseen of Louis. And for us to show y'all this unseen, we just want you to screenshot you listening to this episode right now. So go ahead, take a screenshot. I'll wait. Okay, so after you listen to this episode, just go on Twitter and tag at the Larry Weekly and then say, "This is for the unseen," with the picture that you just took. And when we reach 20 replies, we'll share with y'all the unseen. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
The Mashable article describes a ship as the concept of wanting two fictional or real characters to have sex or fall in love. The term reportedly first entered the online forum sphere in the 1990s.
So because a lot of people think of Larry only as a ship, and we'll go through that more in depth in the next episode, we wanted to include this easy definition that Scott just read of shipping. So a ship is when two of your favorite celebrities or characters, like when you ship them together, it means that you think they look great together. And from that was developed the whole ship culture with fanfics, edits, and so on. But it's fictional, which means it's not real. There is no proof, and because like nothing is really happening between the two people. And something that is like especially really important to notice is that it starts with the fans. The fans are making the ship happen, and not the two-person in the ship themselves.
A relationship is started by two people, the two people that are together, not by rumors. Now this is where Larry comes in. Aunties and people that don't know much about Larry think that it was started by fans. And although the name Larry Stylinson was made by fans, the relationship itself was not. Larry isn't what it is because of the fans. Sure, it gets the attention it does because the fan base talks about the proof we have and we put it all together. But it doesn't start with us. It's that Larry back then and even today give us proof of Larry being real. Speculations only started showing up after it was clearly visible that something was going on between Harry and Louis.
We'll mainly be focusing on Zarry and Muke, 2 other celebrity ships, and how they relate and differentiate from Larry, with their body language on stage and in interviews. First, we will go through the similarities between those ships and Larry, and then the differences between the two.
So the first thing we wrote about and that we wanted to talk about is that Zarry also has matching tattoos.
So Harry and Zayn have two matching tattoos that really stand out. They both have the Pink Floyd tattoo, and then they both have a skull. Harry's skull is a little different. His is like on a card. But yeah, those are the two that stand out.
Yeah, and they both have like a hat on, like the skull. But I
Yes.
don't think we really know what it like stands for.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, Pink Floyd could be a matching tattoo, but it could also not be because like they are both fan of Pink Floyd. I don't know if they did it like at the same time or not, though. That would maybe be something to look up.
So the next point we have is basically the three ships and their body language. So Larry was always really gentle with each other, and they weren't really like rough. They didn't. I mean, there were definitely certain times like on stage where they were playing around and it was a little rough, but mostly like in interviews and everything, their body language was just really, like soft, I guess you would say. And then for Zayn and Harry definitely were like the rest of the boys. They would always just like be like rowdy, and there were a few times where they were like more calm, but usually it was them, being super rowdy.
Muke for me was like also really, I would say like gentle, like friendship, but like it depends. Like definitely, friends, like male friends. So always like going around and sometimes they're like yeah, just joking with each other and just like being a little rough. But they were definitely like hugging more, I think, than like even Larry, like on camera. Um but I would say like this is also like, gentle touches is like a similarity because like all of them were like having some pretty like calm touches, let's say, and like gentle sometimes. But like it's also kind of different in the way they like show it, like in the different ships. Like Muke had like those moments where you could probably think they were like even closer than Larry, but at the same time, they were like probably also more free to show it. So yeah, and like Larry gentle touches were like more romantic, let's say, because like especially when you look at like the little details like of Harry just like trying to touch Louis's arm and just like Louis just putting his arm like um at the back so he can touch like Harry's hand. I Yeah, like that those one were like more secret, but like that would just make it, I think, more gentle and like public touches, if it does make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And so like the last point that we brought on like similarities, and we just like talked a bit about that in like the intro, is fanfics and edits because even if as we said like Larry is different from other ships because it's not only a ship, let's say, it's also like a relationship. It's also like the relationship also went with a lot of shipping from people, like because it was kind of like developed at the same time with like boy bands and just like Tumblr and all those things. And so obviously we have like so much like fanfics about them. Louis even said that like fanfics was scaring him, which I can understand because like some fanfics are pretty scary in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like edits also were like the big new thing of like the fandom and just like in general. So this is definitely like similarities with like Zarry and Muke, but just like any ship that also existed. It's like most of the time you will have edits and fanfics, but it will probably stop there, which is not the case with Larry.
Yeah, I definitely think like the whole fanfic thing, like there's, you know, Zarry fanfics out there, but not nearly as much as there are Larry fics.
Oh my
Like
god.
you just see Larry fics way more. Like I'm pretty sure I've only ever seen, like I haven't read them, but I've seen about 3 or 4 Zarry fics. And there are some Zarry moments in fics, like, but it's not, the main point of the story. Like with Baby Heavens in Your Eyes, like in the beginning, Zayn and Harry are they're more like friends with benefits, but they're not actually together. But it's things like that. Like they're hardly ever together in fics, and if they are, it's like it is in that one. And yeah, it's because it's not it's not real as much as Larry is. So I think people just only really write fics about it if they, for some reason, think that they're together.
Yeah, but like it's actually super like impressive how much like Larry fanfics there is.
I know, there's so many. There's hundreds, probably
Yeah.
thousands.
Actually when I started to like read when I was like younger and I started to read like about um different like LGBTQ plus fanfics, I
Mm-hmm.
just like most of the time when I wanted to look up like boy x boy fanfics, I would just write Larry and I wasn't like even like a Larry. I was not even in the fandom. I was just like, I mean, it's the easiest way to find something that is good because
Yeah.
also I do have to precise, but maybe we'll like go through that in like a next episode more in depth. But I do have to say that like Larry fanfics, because they are like so much. Some are um like an incredible like level. Like they
Yeah.
should probably be edited like for most of them.
Hmm.
Just like it's and it's just so crazy that people have like so many different ideas for, like the same two persons, and it's like
Yeah.
they just lived like three like thousand different lives
Yeah.
in one.
Yeah, for sure. And like I definitely think some people think fanfics are like rude in a way, like towards Larry or whoever they're written about, because it's like there's some pretty explicit stuff in fanfics, most of them anyways. And I think, I don't know, because I think it's fine. It's fiction, like it's not like in almost every Larry fanfic that I've ever read. In the beginning, it says like this is strictly fiction. Like it's not. We're not trying to imply anything. So yeah, I think like fanfics, even though they're involving real characters, that it's not disrespectful in any way, unlike the Euphoria scene. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to like um kind of like have an opinion on that, but like I know
mhm.
at I like yeah, when I was younger I was like reading a lot of Larry fanfics, but because I was not a part of like the fandom, it wouldn't mean anything to me. Like I would
Yeah,
know basically what like who they were,
yeah,
but it wouldn't make any difference to me than just like reading it about like two strangers and just like knowing the way they were like yeah, like just
yeah.
and
Because it's just like reading a story to like at some point.
well, I mean, yes, but at the same time, I think that yeah, sometimes like fanfics go a little bit too like close to the reality. Maybe like this is the problem with it, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I think that, and this is also like a reflection that I had like to start now because I just started to like read a bit of Larry fanfics again, and
Yeah,
like I know that I stopped for like a big moment when I came into the fandom because like it was really weird to me to like read about two people that were like here at the same time and that I know are together, but like
yeah,
reading about their like was like really weird, even if it was like fiction, but it was just real weird. And as you said, like there is a lot of um like sexual content, and it's just
hmm,
like sometimes it can be like really like I don't know, it just makes me super uncomfortable. It's
yeah. I definitely think sometimes fanfics can cross like a few lines, and that they're definitely not for
yeah,
everyone. But like, yeah, I feel like your average like unbelievers, even as explicit as that is, I think that's fine.
yeah,
But I've
yeah,
read
that's
some
fine.
where it's like absolutely not okay, and it like
Mhm.
goes way too far.
Yeah, like I mean, it's also just I think because um some people just don't really care about Larry. Like they love those two celebrities and they just like adore them so much that they also love like the way they look and they just like desire them in some way, and so they
Hmm.
want to put it in this way, which is like not super good and
Yeah.
uh yeah, not really like respectful of
Hmm.
boundaries, I would say. But, like also so like because there's so much like fan fiction somewhere written by like really young people, so I can understand that. But yeah, like most of the time I think it's okay at the same time because it's not talking about like Harry and Louis as like the singers of One Direction, just like like their whole life. Most of the time, it's just like you take some bits of their lives and some bits of like their personality and just put them in completely different characters. Like, and that's also why it like is interesting to read about it. Is that like it's never most of the time it's never like about their real life. It's about like I don't know, one is like a baker and the other is just like a fireman, like and just
Yeah, for sure.
can work on that. And so it's like Louis and Harry, the characters. It's not Louis and Harry like the celebrities.
Yeah. So that's all we have for the similarities, because there aren't many. But now we're going to talk about the differences. It's difficult to compare Larry to other ships because of how different they are. Larry has lasted 12 years, and I can't think of another ship that has lasted that long, or nearly as long, even.
Yeah.
Plus, there are still proofs that are happening, as we speak. There's stuff still coming out almost every day. And with most ships, honestly, there's there's close to zero proof. It's just people think would look good together, but even though there's no proof behind it. But Larry actually does have proof behind it all that we're still getting a consistent flow of. So it's, still staying alive in that way.
Yeah, definitely. So we wanted to talk about Muke and the way they just all portrayed their relationship, and also just showed the differences between them basically and Larry. So we talked a bit about it before, but Muke and their relationship really open about just hugging each other, kissing each other, really besties relationship, which was the case for Larry in 2010, which is pretty much not in 2010, 2010 to 2012, but yeah, and it really I don't really know how to say that, but basically really fast it just ended, and yeah, they just didn't really had any contact with each other, yeah, almost not any looks at each other, not touching each other
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell that Muke, even Larry seemed comfortable around each other, but Muke seemed comfortable. Plus, they knew that they could be, because
Yeah,
there was always with Larry. There was in the interviews there was always them looking at management behind the camera and everything, because they knew that they couldn't do or say
yeah,
certain things. But with Muke, it seemed so much more, just that less of a just not as big of a deal, you know?
yeah, definitely. I feel there is no contradiction, maybe
Yeah.
no contradiction is maybe not the right word for that, but yeah, as you said, they don't really care about it because there is no question around are we more or not, whereas with Louis and Harry, I feel it was also the case at the beginning of the relationship, because um it was kind of like a flirt. We don't really know what it was anyway. Anyways, yeah, but it was something, let's say.
Yeah.
And with me, we kind of feel they don't care about it. They never look at people around them, which was kind of the case. When you just look at this video of Louis hugging Harry from uh backwards. I don't know if this is something.
Yeah, from his back.
Yeah, from his back, right? When he's showing the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this moment, I feel it could be um a similarities to the way Muke was also acting, but then it really fast. They just didn't had any contact with each other, which is super weird when you think of it, because um even when asked if they if there was an issue with each other, they just said that there was nothing. So it's just super weird that they just wouldn't look at each other, wouldn't touch each other, or just start to try to touch each other, but then just go away, or just look up to the management.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it kind of just sounds like Five Sauce had better management, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even know if their management was like different from One Direction. Yeah, but I guess they had actually different management. Yeah, like I think the main difference is that like Muke never seems like they were hiding something, whereas like Larry, there was always like this kind of like
Tension. Yeah.
tension, right? This is the word we're looking for. Like
Yeah.
it was always like this kind of tension.
Yeah.
Everyone just always looking, even like the onesies on stage were like always looking at each other.
Yeah. And
Just
like it wasn't tension because of the boys, it was tension because they knew that management was, there.
yeah, definitely like like this kind of just like a secret of like this open secret that like no one can actually say out loud, like that no everyone just knows about, like in the management and just like uh one like just one day, and also probably like a big part of the fan base. um so this was like one of the main differences, and also like doing duo interviews, um because like Larry did one duo interview,
Yeah,
I
the
think.
Paris interview.
The Paris interview that like everyone is always talking about, and that was like so much happened in that interview.
There was also that other interview that I can't remember if we never got to see or if it was posted and then taken down.
Oh
Do you remember that
yes,
one?
I think it was. Wait, wasn't it like in 2000, like in 2015?
That was later, right? Yeah, like
Like
20.
yeah, it was like super late. I think there was like one with maybe.
I believe it was
Wait,
late
what?
2013, but I could be wrong.
Late 2013? Do you think so?
Yeah, because
Maybe it was
or maybe,
later.
uh,
Or maybe we're not talking about the same one. Like
no, I think there was only one because there was, um, they were like sitting on a couch and it was like the picture was like of a camera. Oh, and the thing that people uh think that is like the Larry coming out video that we never got. Remember, like I think they were in it was like before a show and they were in the arena and there was a picture of them being filmed, like just the two of them, and people think it was like the coming out video, but we never got it.
I'm not super sure it's the one. Like we're talking about the same one. I'm not super sure I've seen the one you talked about. You're
Okay.
talking about, but yeah, it might be this one. Like do you know the date of that one?
I don't, sadly.
Yeah, I guess we would have to look it up. But so
Yes.
yeah, like publicly there was like one duo interview of like Louis and Harry,
Yeah.
which was like at the whole beginning of Larry, and then it just it just stopped, and it was like an interview where they were like super like yeah, just like flirty with each other, like
Yeah.
so we can definitely like say that it has like that was one of the reason why they just never did other interviews.
Uh-huh.
I guess we'll never know. um but yeah, this is like also one of the main differences I feel like with like Muke and Larry's is like Muke did some Joe interview from like the beginning of like Five Stars, and they're still doing some like now. Recently they did do interviews, and like there is no problem with that. There is no tension in the room. They just like look like besties, like
Yeah.
they just have this best friend relationship, and you don't feel like there is this big heavy just thing that is gonna fall on their head if they're saying something wrong.
Yeah.
So our next point that we really wanted to talk about is a pretty big one, and it's about stunts vs relationship. Um, so with like all of the Larry stunts, I mean, if you're no stunt, you believe that all of like Larry's relationship were stunts. So with this, what we can see is that like that the pattern is that there is just like no interaction outside of the public sphere. It's like the case with Louis and Eleanor, with like Harry and Olivia, which is basically like just um, ignoring her when he's on stage and even like going out of stage. Um, yeah, it was just the case with like all of their um, supposed relationships, but that were actually stunts. We were talking about this with Samira, which is like one of the other admins, and it was like we were just talking about the fact that we don't understand how can some people like believe in it, but like if you're
Exactly.
not a part of the fandom, I understand. Like yeah, I can understand
Yeah.
because like you don't know anything of it, so you're just like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, reading something is like, oh, Harry Styles is actually like, dating Olivia Wilde,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, like I don't care about it, and I just know it for a fact. But like,
Yeah.
if you're in the fandom, it means that like you're
Exactly.
looking at the pics and you're looking at like the way they are talking with each other and just like yeah, interacting with each other in public. And my main question is, how can people be fan of their relationship? Like if you are a fan of their relationship, it means that like you think Harry and Olivia, or even like Louis and Eleanor, like
Yeah.
people great together. Like they're a great couple. And I don't like, if you think this is a case, I am really worried about like the way you were raised as a kid, and like just like your parents, just
Literally.
like their relationship, because like
Exactly.
how
And it's like,
how
I would understand if people, shipped them if she was a good person. Because, like, then it's not as big of a deal. But she
yeah,
is such a bad person. Like, she is completely racist, says completely racist things, supports racist people, and does not have, don't even get me started on the breast milk video. Like, she just, I don't know, isn't, she just doesn't stand for anything good. Or for, also, she doesn't stand for anything Harry does, which is
yeah,
even more of a turn off.
yeah. And this is like also the thing that like yeah, this is like also one of the main reasons. Like if you're in the relation, like if you're inside of the fandom, I don't really get why you would like um just support their relationship, like, and or just like believe in it.
Yeah.
I mean, um, I was just saying it. Like I know Eleanor is not like the best person, but
Mm-hmm.
I know like
She's
that
more
also,
bearable than Olivia.
yeah, and also like a lot of the things that she apparently did were like debunked. So there is not so much to say on that for that. Like on those points, like, but
Yeah.
just so I just don't really mind her, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But at the same time, I'm just like, how can you just be a fan of that relationship? Like, it just like it just makes no sense to me because like they have literally like, I looked up, I just can find like two good pictures of them together where I'm just like, oh my god, like they seem like they were having like a good time, let's say. Like
Mm-hmm.
they it seems like they were not having the worst time of their lives. But like
Yeah.
on all of the other pictures, they just have like those faces. I'm just like, if someone that I'm supposed to love more than anything, and I'm just like, Louis in his lyrics is not talking about like a little love story. He's talking about the
Exactly.
freaking love of his life. And I'm just like, if
Exactly.
this is the same
Yeah.
person, like if the person he's talking about is Eleanor and he's just treating her like that in public, he is seeing her and he's just acting with her the way he
Exactly.
is,
Yeah.
then like I think he has a problem in the way he's showing love to people, which is
Exactly.
not the case, because like we can just see the way he is with his family, we
Mm-hmm.
can see the way he is with his fans.
Yeah.
So
Like, we can see that he's a loving, caring person, and he's
yes,
obviously not treating Eleanor like that.
Yeah, this is the thing. And so I'm just like, I don't know how can people believe in it. Like,
Exactly.
if you're a part of the fandom, if you're out of the
Yeah.
fandom, like you get it completely, like you don't care about it, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's for the best. But if you're inside of the fandom, I'm just like, and how can you make like accounts and being like, oh my god, like Louis and Eleanor, we've got a new little pic. They look so cute
Exactly.
together. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is cute about that? Like,
Exactly. And it's like in the lyrics, honestly, send me, because it is so funny that people, like, whenever I get into a conversation with an anti, or like somebody that ships Eleanor and Louis, or like Harry and Olivia, and they like find ways to relate the lyrics to them. Like, people either say that Sweet Creature is about Gemma or Olivia, and I'm like, okay, first of all, that doesn't make any sense because of the time. And then like um the like Inhabit, the um Come So Far from Princess Park, like, people keep saying that that's Eleanor, and I'm like, guys, um you know Louis lived with Harry at Princess Park, not Eleanor, right? Like,
no, but like there are so much things that just
yeah.
don't make any sense.
And also,
Um,
like, when people say share a single bed and tell each other what we dream about, and saying that that is about Eleanor, there's literally pictures of two single beds pushed together, like, in Harry and Louis' house. And it's like, and you think that's about Eleanor?
no, but there was like so much stuff. Like, yeah, that just don't make any sense. Like in the lyrics, and we will also go about like talk about it in like a proper episode. But yeah, just like so much things to say about the stunts and just why
I
it
could
is.
go on forever about them, to be honest.
Oh, but definitely,
That's
yeah,
why we
and
need a separate episode for that.
yeah, we will do a separate episode on that if
Yeah.
some people, yeah, want us to. But yeah, there is a lot to say about it, and also the way that like stunts are a thing in the industry, because like a lot of people don't believe that actually stunts are a thing in the industry.
Yeah.
Like everyone is doing stunts. It's
Yeah.
not only for closeted people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the industry is doing stunts. Like it is super useful. Like
Yeah.
in the Hollywood industry.
Yeah, and
So
now that's why there's specific brands that are actually dedicated to, taking stunt pics, which we will talk about in a stunt episode. But
yep. But the last thing we can maybe say about that, like the two last things, is that um, there is barely any private pictures of like uh, Larry stunts. Let's say, like, yeah, just like Harry and Olivia. I don't think we've got like any pictures of um like Harry outside of the how's it how can I say that? Yeah, I don't think we've got like any pictures of Harry, basically like private pictures taken by Olivia, like posted by Olivia. And for Eleanor, well, I mean, there were like a few, but a lot of it was just like debunked and actually photoshopped
yeah,
or just like taken like really long time ago.
yeah,
So it also like just yeah, don't make a lot of sense if the people are
yeah.
supposed to like actually spend a lot of time together.
Yeah,
Like
I think the most private picture we have of them is the yacht pictures, but like,
yeah, but it's not private. Like it is like a stunt, like shooting. It's
exactly, because like Niall said, if you don't want to get papped, you won't get papped. Like, they were in the middle, like they were on a boat in the water. Like, you really think that they were just like paps, like walking around and happened to see them? Like, no, they were obviously there.
yeah, and uh like yeah, there are like a lot of things to say about like your um pictures and just like other kind of stunt pictures like that just like are just like stunt pictures taken by professionals. Like it's impossible that it was just like taken in this moment. Um, let's stop on that and let's maybe go on with like the way we wanted also to talk like and to compare that to the way Michael and Crystal, which is like Michael's wife, were acting in public and also like in private. So comparing that to Larry, first of all, they were like doing like to Larry stunts. First of all, they were doing like live streams together. We had like some private pictures of them, like posted on each other's stories, um, with like pictures of them during like the holidays, just like days off, you know. Um, and yeah, there is also like this little interview where I think Michael is asked if um, Crystal is the one, and he just like immediately answers like, "Yeah, she's the one." And yeah, and also they are married, which is not really something we can like take as a fact because like we know that it's like some stunt also get married,
Yeah.
but they just look super happy together. A lot of pictures of them smiling at each other. They just like also have this like really great bond and friendship that is not really something that we can see with Harry and Olivia slash Louis and Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
The next point we want to talk about is Larry and Zarry body language and like the way they were in interviews and the way they interacted with each other. So, like we said earlier, Harry and Louis were very gentle with each other, and how like they touched each other, or the way they interacted all the time. And Zarry was a little more like they acted more like friends, and the way they interacted was very different. Yeah, it was just Larry definitely seemed more like romantic, and Zarry was more just simply like friends.
yeah, and also like as we said, like Larry and the way they show their love, like more like secret, whereas like
Yeah,
Larry was like they could just show it on stage and there was like no issue with that.
yeah. So with Larry in interviews, there was a lot of like when they would hug or do group hugs, Larry would grab like each other's waist, or sometimes or put their hands on each other behind someone's back. There's a few interviews where they were quickly or sometimes not quickly, like putting their hand on the other one's leg, um, or like grabbing their arm, like not grabbing like violently, but um, like softly to like pull them somewhere or pull them towards them to tell them something.
Yeah,
And Zarry never really did that. They would like. There's definitely there's definitely footage of them like grabbing each other's arm to tell them something, but not really like the whole grabbing their waist and like the like putting their hands on their leg kind of thing. That never really happened with Zarry. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and playing with their hair. Let me tell you, I cannot even count on like one hand the amount of times that I've seen Louis play with Harry's hair. He definitely loves that boy's curls. That's for sure.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it also like I think that all of the boys were doing it, but like Louis was probably the one doing it the most. And it
yeah,
was also like when Louis was like touching Harry's hair, it was always when like he was always super close to him, like or like behind him, and just like Harry was seated between his legs or like just next to him. Whereas like I think Liam and Art now like also were like touching Harry's hair sometimes, but it more seems like oh my god, like the texture looks fun. Like let
Yeah.
me try that. Then like, gentle touch. Like
Yeah. But I also think because he was the youngest, it was just like a way of messing with him as well.
yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, like the video of Louis playing with Harry's hair while he's sitting on the floor in front of him, and then he literally kisses the top of his head. Like,
Yeah.
like okay, Louis.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
The next one is like the stairs, which I think is also uh one of the main differences for me between like friendship and like relationship slash romance is
for
like
sure.
the way you look at the person.
Yeah, eyes can say a lot.
Eyes can say a lot. Like yeah, as we say, like eyes are the window of the soul. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, like it actually says a lot, and it also like tells you a lot on the way um they were controlled. Like the because they could not like um show their love like and just um act and just like do the gentle touches. um yeah, just like really quickly they stopped doing that. Then like the stairs were like basically only way to just look at the person and make sure that you can like communicate with them in a way.
And so it's kind of the same thing with smiles. Like they would always be smiling or like giggling at each other, um, quite a lot, especially in interviews. And sometimes even like at concerts across the stage, they would like be telling something or be telling each other something, and then they would laugh about it and smile. So that's definitely another one. Um, and then the last one about body language is whispers and mouthing words to each other. So there are countless amounts of times where Larry was saying something to each other secretly, so other people couldn't hear, like on stage, and sometimes in interviews, but mostly it was mostly on stage, um, and it was mostly them going up to the other one and like whispering in their ear, but sometimes they would actually cover like what they were saying with their hand. So a lot of people think that they were actually like kissing the other one, um, and then that's when aunties try to say like, "Oh no, it's just them whispering," but sometimes it actually really does look like they're kissing the other one. But um, yeah, there's like one example about them actually whispering is where I can't remember. I think it was Disney. Somebody asked like, "What was your favorite ride at Disney?" Was it Disney?
I'm not sure if it was Disney or not, but definitely possible it was.
Yeah, I think I well anyways, I think it was Disney. They were like answering fan questions, and I think the question was like, what was your favorite ride at Disney? And as they were all answering, Harry went over to Louis and like whispered into his ear, and it looks like he says, "You are mine." um, so yeah, it's just a lot of stuff like that, like saying stuff to the other one so that nobody else could hear.
Yeah, like just wanted to add something on that is that
Yeah.
like um a lot of person could say, and like it's true that like everyone was whispering on stage because like obviously you have some things to say to each other, and like when you're on stage you just like don't want other people to understand what you're saying. But like most of the time I think when the other boys were like whispering to each other, it was more about like um things that were happening on stage. Like then we would just look at them and they would just like laugh, and it was like so we could think that it would be like jokes or things like that, like
Yeah.
just like whispering stuff and then like pointing at some places, and then like laugh about it.
Yeah.
And I think like this is also one of the differences with Larry would be like when they were like whispering things to each other, then they were like making faces
Yeah, you could
were
definitely tell, like when the other boys were saying something to each other, like it wasn't as important, but it always like whatever Larry said to each other, it always stood out because you could tell it wasn't like just like something normal, you know?
yeah, and most of the time it was not something and then they would just laugh. It was like things and then they would like look at each other, but
Yeah.
like
And they
especially
like dragged it on basically.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is also like the differences between like whispering at, like in a friendship, let's say,
Yeah.
and like when you whisper to someone in a relationship.
Yeah. So now we're going to do a speed round, and I'm going to ask a question, and then everyone's going to give an answer. So the question is, what is your favorite Louis and Harry cover? So I'm going to pick two of each because I cannot narrow it down to one for either of them. So my favorite Harry covers are Half the World Away and The Chain. They're both really good. Obviously, the original songs are good, but not nearly as good as the covers. And for Louis, I'm gonna say "Look After You" and "Seven." "Look After You" just because he was just such a baby when he sang that. It's really cute, and it's what I fall asleep listening to most of the time. So I love that song, um, when it's sung by him. And then I'd say "Seven" because mostly just because of the Larry line, even though it's only in there twice. It's just great. I love it.
Yeah, I think I would say for Harry, like for me there is like no question. It's like ultra light beam, like ultra beam light. Is
Yeah.
it ultra beam light or
It's
ultra light beam?
ultralight beam.
Ultra light beam, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
this smells like just so
So
good.
good.
Like
Yeah.
I'm actually I like this is a petition for Harry to do like please do ultra light beam please on like Love on Tour Europe. I would
Yes, if I get to hear that live, oh my gosh.
I would die for that. I don't know like what cover is he gonna do for like
Yeah.
um Love on Tour
Yeah.
Europe. That would probably be a good
Yeah, I'm
question.
praying it's that one. And if it is, I will definitely I will get a video of it.
Yeah, maybe we can do like a question on that for the next speed round. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
But so
like
yeah,
which one do you
definitely
think
like
it's gonna do?
ultra light beam for me is like so good because like okay it was done by Kanye West with like or Yee, how you want to call him, which is like definitely the uh, I don't have the words to explain like who is this guy, but
Yeah.
yeah he's like super weird, but say it yeah gently, let's say, um to treat people with kindness, yes. Kanye is weird, but yeah, but like the way he did it is like so different from the actual song. Like if you ever listen to the actual song, you will just know that
Yeah,
this
you
is
could hear the difference immediately.
oh, but like it just has nothing to do with oh my god, what
Yeah.
happened to yeah yeah it just like has nothing to do with it. Like yeah it's completely different, but this is also like the cool part about it. And yeah I just like love the music, like just the instrumental that he has like behind it, and just like I don't know, the way he's doing it is like so cool, love that. And it also just like actually makes you listen to the lyrics way more than like when Kanye is doing it, which is like going faster and everything, but just like Harry has this really like calm voice and just like saying words really uh, slowly, which is like easier to for you to listen to it, and just like the instrumental so is. And then for Louis, I would basically say like the exact same one as you did, Scott. I would say like look after you because yeah he was a baby, but though like I think his voice just like suits the music so well. Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh, his voice in that song is so perfect. And I played it for my brother earlier, and he was like, it sounds weird, but I'm like, you just got to appreciate like how good his voice sounds here.
no, but like it sounds so good, so good.
Yeah.
And I also think that I like it because like it kind of like reminds me of memories, like when I was listening to it when I
Yeah.
was younger. So yeah,
It
definitely
just
this.
it sounds really comforting too.
Yeah, it does definitely. And then I would probably say, yeah, like just as you said, basically seven. Seven because I am obsessed with Catfish and the Bottleman. Um, I was there before Louis. I just have to say it. I'm not obsessed with Catfish and the Bottleman because of Louis. I'm just obsessed with him. Um, and yeah, I was kind of like afraid of him doing a cover of that, to be honest, because yeah, it's like the case when like every artist is just like covering one of your favorite songs, but he is doing it like perfectly. I also love the way he's just like performing it on stage, and yeah, it's like super great. Great memories. Love to see that on stage, and love to see that like performed by Louis.
Yeah.
So what else is me this one?
Covers, I don't really know. Like, they're all so good. I really cannot pick. But I say for Louis, probably like Seven or Mr. Brightside. I don't know. Like one of those two. And for Harry, it's between like Girl Crush, The Chain, and Big Yellow Taxi. Like, those just hit. I can't explain it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Larry Weekly. We hope you've learned something new. If you want to be part of this journey, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Larry Weekly to keep up with all podcast related news and exclusive. See you next Friday for a new refill.